On today's show, we're joined once again by Charlotte from the Balloon Market office, and she's got her vinyl cutter again, and we're looking at colour changing vinyl. Hello, Greg from Balloon Market here, and welcome to BMTV. And as you can see, yet again, Charlotte from Balloon Market is here. Now, we've not really talked about your job. You work in customer support, don't you? And did we talk about this in the first show? I cannot remember, but anyway.
We didn't know what my title was.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
What is your title?
Customer support specialist.
Specialist, that's it. And you basically support our customers.
Yeah, live chat, Facebook, Instagram, email, phone, everything.
You are everywhere.
Yeah.
You are everywhere. So yeah, there's a good chance that you will actually speak to Charlotte, chat to Charlotte. Because lots of different people pick up the phone, lots of different people pick up the live chat, but you're the best is what you're saying.
Obviously.
Obviously, there you go. Sorry, everybody else in the office, you can have that discussion later. You're going to do some more vinyl related stuff.
This stuff is so cool. It's the TeckWrap colour changing vinyl.
Yeah.
So cold sensitive, and it reacts to icy cold drinks.
Is there one that reacts to hot drinks?
I don't know if TeckWrap do it, but it does exist, yeah. So if you like any thermal things, and I think Cricut might do infusible ink that does it.
All right,
I'm not sure off the top of my head.
I'll have to have a look. I'll have to have a look. But this is stuff that reacts to a cold beverage.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, what are we going to do?
So first of all, you've got a Cricut machine, Maker 3, as we've mentioned before. This is our machine. I love it. And it is the biggest and best of the, well, not the biggest anymore. They've just released a new Cricut machine, and it's huge.
How big is the new one?
I don't know off the top of my head, but it's like
very, very big.
Yeah.
And do we sell that?
No, I don't think it's available. It might not be available in the UK. Yeah.
All right.
Okay. It only just was like released like a week ago.
When it is available in the UK, I'm sure we will have it in because the Cricut machines are going very well. Yeah.
And then again, I'm going to take you over to our Cricut Design Space.
Yep.
Which is the platform Cricut has to do everything on it.
Yeah.
So on here, I have already pre-made kind of what I want to do. And this one is actually using a asset from the Cricut Access package.
Okay.
So I'm just going to customize. I'm going to open up my canvas.
So the Cricut Access package is, you pay for that?
Yep, it's a subscription. It's $7.49 a month, I think. And it gives you access to hundreds of thousands of images, shapes, text, everything that you can kind of think of,
so
projects.
So you just enter in a word. So if it was, I don't know, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, you could enter that in, and something you can have to enter that in now and see if something comes up.
Some things are obviously licensed, as we know, in this industry.
So it might not come up.
Yeah, but like Disney, I know still they have licensed Star Wars and like Sesame Street and things like that.
Or if you type dog. Plenty of dogs.
Exactly, or a flower. And then it'll also be assets that other people have made. So like I could draw a flower, upload it on there, and then someone else in the world could then use that and make their own.
Do you get paid for that?
I do not know, I've not done it.
That'd be really interesting, wouldn't it? Yeah.
I'm not sure how it works, but yeah.
Anyway.
So this is an asset that I found on Design Space, and to do that, if you've got your canvas open now, I'm just going to go to the left hand side, images, open that up, and then there's 500,000 plus images, and I'm just going to type iced coffee, and it will bring up anything that is relevant when it wants to load to coffee. So I just went through here. I found one that I liked. I don't know how far down it was. Maybe if I search iced coffee addict.
Seemingly iced coffee is popular.
It's very popular. And it's something that I see very commonly like sold, like people make a lot of iced coffee tumblers, mugs, cups, everything. It's extremely popular.
Yeah.
I think our office are very much iced coffee fans as well.
Yes, there's a bit of a Starbucks thing going on in the office.
I can't find the exact design that I've used. But
you did find one and you've prepared it.
So for example, I've just found this one that is cool. I was actually going to use this one because you can see I've bookmarked it. So I'm just going to click on it, add it to the canvas, and then it will load into the canvas, and now you can edit it and do whatever you want to it. Oh, and it's just opened the Cricut Access subscription. But yeah, so that is if I wanted to use that
So
image.
that's what you did. You did that iced coffee addict, and then you've just edited it and changed the colours.
Just change the colours. So now I'm going to delete that one, and this is what I've got. So to change the colours, it is, you can just click on, these two are linked, so they are layered together. And then that one isn't. And because I now have them 2 different colours, they will print on different mats.
Okay.
But I can do a thing where, because it's only small, it's going to be about this big. I don't want to waste my time putting it on 2 mats, so I can put it on one and I can put it at different corners of the mat. But by doing that, I have to make sure that they are all the same colour on Cricut. So by doing that, I'm just going to highlight the whole thing, and up here it'll have a question mark because it's more than one colour.
Okay.
So then I'm just going to change it to pink, for example. It doesn't matter what colour. And now it's all one colour, so when I go to make it, it will all be on one mat. And then also I am just going to, I want these 2 words, I'll have to do it this way, iced, and I want coffee.
What do you mean it's all one colour? Because the coffee is obviously white.
So you can see that the coffee has a pink outline. So that is,
Hold on, I can't, I need my glasses. I can't see
it is literally just an outline, so it's not actually white.
Oh,
that will
right,
be like
okay.
bits that I pick out of it.
Yes, okay.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter what the colour is that you choose.
No, it doesn't,
It's just
because it's whatever colours you've actually picked and passed.
Okay.
So I have got pink and I've got orange, and they are my 2 favourite colours, which is why I've done that. And then, so I've highlighted these 2, and I'm going to just attach them together so that when I cut it on the mat, they are going to be stuck together.
Okay.
And then I am going to go make it. I hope I've attached it right. No, I haven't.
What have you done wrong?
I have attached the whole thing, so if I just grab that, detach it, and then I'm going to just highlight these 2. Oh, it's not going to work like that. I'm going to have to do that one. And iced, and then attach. See, it's no longer highlighted that one. Where's adding? I'm just going to take that out. There we go. And if I make it,
Fingers crossed.
there we go. So now I can separate. So
Okay.
these 2 are stuck together.
Yeah.
And then I am going to be on a mat. You can, if you've got smart vinyl, not use a mat.
Yep.
But because we're using the TeckWrap vinyl, we have to do it on a mat.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do load type on a mat, and it's now going to resize it. And then I am just going to move them to separate sides of the mat. And if I move these off,
Yeah, let me take the bottle.
oh, you can see that these numbers correlate with the numbers that are on the screen.
Yep.
And we don't need to mirror it because it's permanent vinyl and it's not heat transfer vinyl. So now I am just gonna peel that off of the mat. I'm gonna unwrap this, if I can figure out how to do it without it falling out. I have nails, I'm not very good at it. Nope. So I butcher everything.
Well, while you're doing that, I'm
Yeah.
going to show everybody something else that you've done already. Look, so that's vinyl. So that says Santa's milk. And you did a post, didn't you? That was really cool, using one of the wooden slices that we sell. And you put that on, you put some cookies on.
Yep.
And what else? milk,
an apple,
cookies.
I think, for the reindeer. Could have any carrots?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And it was just so cool. But this is just vinyl using. This isn't the colour changing one,
No,
is
that is just the normal,
Just normal
matte
vinyl.
vinyl, and then that is the Cricut Smart Sparkly vinyl.
Okay. Cool.
Shimmery, I don't know, it's glitter.
Which one? The white one?
Yeah.
Oh, I have to put my glasses on. I can't see that. I can't see that. Oh yeah.
So it's
That's
like
really sparkly. You probably won't be able to see it, but it's sparkly.
Yep.
Anyway. Okay. Good.
Perfect. And then I'm going to grab
Oh, you're making a mess.
I know, sorry. I am very messy. So I've got the pink TeckWrap vinyl here, and it comes with a protective cover on it so you don't damage the vinyl.
Yeah.
And now I don't need a lot because I'm only going to cut like this much. So I can see on here that it goes to number 8, or just past number 8, and then it goes down again to the 8. So I am just going to kind of estimate how far down I need it. You can cut it with a protective sheet on, but where I've just pulled off the tab, it's come off.
Oh, so that protective sheet so it goes all the way through.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So if you're making like loads of these, you can just literally cut it.
Yeah. Learning so much about the products we sell. You know, I was walking in the warehouse the other day, And I discovered that we sell floating candles now. Have you seen
Yeah,
those?
they're really cool, like the little round
they're
ones.
about that size, but they're really cool.
They're really popular at the moment. And then, so I've just cut it, and then I'm going to go here. See, this vinyl, because it's like a specialty vinyl, it is quite thick, which means it doesn't feel it, and it's like very movable, but it's actually very hard to cut. You need to use a lot of pressure on it.
Very smooth.
Yeah.
Really smooth.
So now I'm just going to apply this onto my mat. I'm going to stick it down like that, and then I'm going to get my orange vinyl. Again, peel off.
That's white, Charlotte.
It's white for now. But
Oh, how exciting.
I do, after I've taken this off, I do kind of write, I put a bit of tape over it and put what colour it is. Because they are, all the colour changing ones will be like a white or a pale pink. And then again, I don't mind cutting it like this because I know that I will probably, like if I was running my shop again, I would be making multiple of these. So I would just keep using these.
Oh no!
It's unravelled, hasn't it?
That is unravelled massively. I've got to show everybody.
Oh no, don't.
Look what's happened. Look what's happened. It's unravelled. Look at that. Hello.
They come with those slap bands that you need to like, you know,
They come with them.
Oh, we have some of them that we have.
We should definitely use those. Or a bit of sellotape, you know. Yeah. A bit of vinyl.
And then so this one goes to 23, but I'm just going to cut it there a bit longer. And again, just going to stick this down.
So you're still using it for stuff at home? Do you still use it day to day for just random stuff at home or not?
My mum got a hold of it, and she has vinyled everything in the house. Like, I'm not joking. The dog bowls have vinyl on them. They're like containers with their food in has vinyl on it. Candles have vinyl on it. Every single cup has vinyl on it.
Wow.
She's made T-shirts, everything.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Why not?
So I have not had a say in what I do with it. So now I have those two bits. So this is what I mean. You don't need to have multiple mats because that can be very time consuming. I am going to go continue. I've lined these up there. I'm happy with where they are.
Yeah.
It's going to connect to the machine.
Can I do the button pressing thing?
Yeah.
Excellent.
And then because this is specialty vinyl, I did have to play around a bit with the settings. There is premium outdoor vinyl and there is also holographic, which I think might be slightly better. So if I just search for holographic.
So this is just your knowledge and experience is telling you this?
Yeah, so I tried TeckWrap do have like a chart of what settings it can be on, but I find, just play around a bit and have a look. So I will then do holographic vinyl here. Should probably bookmark that if I'm going to use it frequently. And then I'm going to change it. And then I'm going to set it to extra pressure, so it'll be more pressure.
Okay.
And that'll just put a bit more force behind the cut and get through it. Then, because there's only one mat.
Oh, should I press it?
Not yet, I need to line it up.
Oh, sorry.
So I'm going to line it up with the guides here, here, and then the guides here. And I'm going to put that through, and now you can press the button. The machine's going to calibrate. It's going to read the material, measuring the mat length just to make sure we've got the right mat inserted.
And whilst it's doing that, I'm going to show everybody this. This is colour changing as well. And you did, was it a reel or a TikTok?
A reel.
A reel on Instagram. And this is the colour changing vinyl. So you can go to our Instagram, which is
at balloonmarket.uk.
At balloonmarket.uk. There you
go.
go.
Is that our Instagram? Yeah.
I don't know. Is that our Instagram?
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever our Instagram is, but I'm sure we'll put it on the screen. And this changes colour, and it was a great reel. It was really, really good because it shows you time lapsing, doesn't it, doing the whole thing. You spend a lot of time in that room just time lapsing, don't you?
Yeah. A lot of time lapsing.
But it's good. Look, it's great. Absolutely fantastic. Anyway.
Do you want to do the honours and press?
I'll press the other button. There we are. Sorry, I thought he was doing it, so I just.
So now the machine is going to cut the vinyl, and you can see on the screen that it's detecting it. I think it has like a little sensor in this bit that moves along. Yeah. And it will now start cutting it. Yeah.
Crazy. It's done. Yep.
No. Oh, sorry. I forget. You can do it.
Okay. Well.
And then so now you can see that it has cut it out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then I'm gonna again turn the mat upside down.
Yeah.
I'm gonna peel the mat away from the vinyl, not the vinyl away from the mat. This vinyl is a bit different. It's not as like temperamental as permanent vinyl that can just flake off, because it is that like thicker vinyl. But still, I don't want to run any risks, so I just again peel it off, and then if you wanna,
I can do my thing.
Just gonna move the laptop out the way. And then I am
Why are you laughing at me?
No, you're doing a very good job.
I know, but why are you laughing at me?
One thing I forgot to do was peel the protective layer off that. Just gonna...
Does it matter?
It might make the cut harder. And now I'm gonna have to peel it off every...
Oh no.
It's all good. One thing I can do, so I am gonna do a little... See, it's not that hard. Go on. That's all off now. Protective layer's off, and it is getting everywhere. So you can see. Yep, I know. I'm sorry. Both have been cut, and then this one I'm just going to cut it to here.
Like the bottle.
Yes, please. Thank you. And then again, I'm just going to cut this one. It's really hard to see with these lights.
You're blaming the laptop. You're blaming the light.
No, because it's white on
else
white.
I can do for you?
And one thing I'm going to do, so there's 2 ways you can weed. Well, there's probably more than 2 ways, but there's 2 ways that I weed. And one is that when you have something very simple, you can just put your hook in and then peel it. And now we'll find out if I have cut it. Oh my God.
Have you cut it at all?
Yeah, I think so. Not very well.
Is that because it had the protective layer?
Yeah.
Do you have to do it again?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, no. Oh.
All right, so in case we haven't, I'm just going to peel this off. Vinyl away. Mat off of the vinyl, not vinyl off of the mat. And then... If you like,
I'm happy
going to move the laptop out of the
I'm
way.
getting quite good at this now. Pressure. Oh no! Got it wrong. Go on, you carry on. You do
so there are 2 ways to weed vinyl. Well, I mean, there's probably more than 2 ways, but I do 2 ways. So with a shape that is very kind of simple.
I'm rubbish. You carry on. Sorry.
It's simple to weed. I'm just going to cut the excess away from this.
Get it? Oh no!
And then I am going to grab my weeding tool. I love this hook tool.
Yep.
It's my favorite hook tool. I will say this every time. And then I am just going to slowly... TeckWrap vinyl is very thick. And even though I have put it on like the thicker setting with the more pressure, sometimes it won't always cut perfect. And it's not the machine's fault. It is the vinyl. TeckWrap vinyl, the color changing one, is a more trickier vinyl that I've worked with. But as you can see, if it's a simple shape, like it's kind of not always coming out perfect, but it's cut.
Yeah.
It just needs a little bit of help.
Just be a bit more gentle when you.
And then you can use your tool. You can use your tweezers if you want, and just gently pull everything out. I'm just using my hooking tool just to like peel it away from the lines. And again, up here there will be an eye. And then...
Is there a name for the dot of the eye?
I'm sure there is, but I do not know it.
I think that could be a question of the week.
Who knows what it's called? It's like the 2 dots over an E has a name that I do not remember either.
An umlaut.
I was going to say it's an umlaut. I know it's an umlaut. We're getting people behind the camera wanting to be on the show.
There we go. And then see, that was
Mr.
simply...
Twingo. Sorry.
That was simply weeded and no stress. Now, this one is, because it's an outline, it's going to be a lot trickier.
Ooh.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my transfer tape, and I'm just going to cut a section of it off that is big enough for that. I'm not being wasteful with the transfer tape. I keep my scraps and I will reuse them. And this transfer tape is quite tacky, so it will, if you're not using like specialty vinyl, if you're using normal vinyl, you can kind of reuse it multiple times.
By tacky, she means sticky, just not the other kind of tacky.
So I'm just going to pop that over. And then I'm going to grab my squeegee in this little fancy compartment.
Hidden compartment.
And then I'm just going to squeegee over it and make sure it's all stuck.
Oh, you're going to weed from the underside then? Oh, right, okay.
So then I'm going to peel the backing layer off to one side, and then I'm going to grab weeding tool, and then it will be tricky because the transfer tape is tackier than like what the stickiness of the vinyl. So you can see here it's like a little bit. Again, you've got to help some of the shapes.
Yeah.
Go free. And you don't want to stick it to that. It's very sticky and it can be a bit more trickier, but you're not losing your shapes and it's not coming out everywhere. So I am just gonna start.
So a little bit more work, but safer.
Yeah, and I think it's easier, hopefully. If I can get this, it's not gonna work now, is it?
You might have to have one of those things that says 3 hours later.
Yeah.
3 hours later.
Again, next one. Some letters will, I don't know what it is. I think, like I said, it could be the way that you read it from. It could just be, no idea. And then again, I'm just going to use tweezers because it's stuck. Get that off. I'm going to leave that O to last because I have, where I peeled it off slightly, it's nudged it.
Okay.
So I'm going to do the C and then I'll leave the O till last because concentration. Again, the C should be easiest. Sometimes if the vinyl's not coming off, just use your tweezers, get under that bit. And then you can use your picking tool to hold it down instead.
This is quite satisfying to watch. I feel I've got to be quiet.
And then the O should be okay. Just gonna hold it down. It's okay if it comes off, it's not the end of the world because you can just see where it's like fallen off earlier, it's stuck.
Oh no.
It's okay, it's okay. Okay.
You're not panicking.
No. And then you can, this is why this is good, it's thin, it's sharp. You can just nudge it back into shape and just stick it down wherever you want.
Ooh.
See, but it's fine because I can just.
It's almost easier now.
Yeah. Get it on the surface and then I can just pry it off my finger and mold it.
Okay.
Somewhere.
I think we need to get it on the bottle.
I need to take that centre out that O.
Oh yeah.
Why was that the easiest bit?
Well done.
And then I'm just gonna. Just making sure that's stuck down so it doesn't do any moving. And then, so you can, when you're using glasses and things like that, you can get a thing called a glass cradle and it will just be like a little cradle.
Okay.
And you sit your glass in that and it will hold it. We don't have them.
Why not?
I have asked Jenny to get them.
Jenny, get the cradles.
However, this water bottle from what I used previously comes in very handy. And sometimes you are going to have to improvise. You can't always order and have it immediately, especially I think they're more see in America, they haven't really found them over here.
Okay.
So it's one of those. So I'm improvising. I use this.
Yeah.
And then I'm just going to sit my bottle in there. And then that gives me a secure surface.
And stops it rolling around. Yeah. Very good.
And then I'm going to grab this one that I did earlier.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, the vinyl might be longer, so then that bit of scrap that I had earlier, which has now fallen off the table, what I can do is just trim up here, put that to one side, and then I'm gonna put this all on at once so that it's easier for me. And then I'm just gonna line up roughly where I want that. So it's in line. And then that'll be on there. And then I'm going to grab this little bit of vinyl from earlier and put it on there. And then I'm going to be, where's the...
The what?
So the scrap from earlier.
Yeah.
If you ever want to lay a vinyl or kind of you're using more than one colour, I'm just going to put that back on there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can squeeze it without it coming off on any surface. So just make sure that this bit's applied to it. It's on the transfer vinyl. That's also going to put that O back in place for me. And then I can take off this carefully. And then I should be able to take off. I need to do that one a bit better. When you squeegee, you need to like really get in there and just kind of make sure it's all, because speciality vinyl will be harder to, it'll be harder to weed, it'll be harder to transfer.
Okay.
So I know that that bit can come off that easily. Now this bit should hopefully, yeah. Play ball with me.
Cool.
Yeah, speciality vinyl, you can get stronger transfer tape. So there is, Cricut do a strong transfer tape, and they do like their normal one, and they do like a light grip transfer tape.
Yeah. Okay.
So it depends with the material that you're working with. And then I'm just going to get my ball, I'm going to line it up here. And then I'm going to eyeball it. I'm going to go from the bottom and go up so it's straight. And then I'm going to just apply it there. And then I'm going to go round like that. And I'm just going to pull it down. I'm going to smooth it as I go. And now that's smoothed.
So what things have we got that we sell that you could do this on? So we've got bottles, clearly.
Yeah, we've got milk bottles, water bottles.
I suppose you've got the acrylic discs and all
Acrylic,
that.
yeah. Lots of stuff. And I mean, not just like colour changing vinyl will only work on like vessels that you can.
I just meant vinyl in general.
Oh, everything. T-shirts, tote bags.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
Cool.
You can squeegee on here if you want, just to make sure that it comes off.
Because we sell a heat transfer vinyl as well, don't we?
Yes,
We
and
have to do a show on that.
that was my speciality. So that is what I.
Oh right, okay.
That is what I used to do the most of. Everything. Even, I know we do paper bookmarks, and what I used to do is I would have the paper bookmarks, I would airbrush them with watercolours to paint them, and because I'm not going to hand paint them, but airbrushing them was a lot quicker.
Yeah.
And then I would heat transfer vinyl onto the paper so that it was less fiddly than this, and it would last longer because,
All right.
yeah.
Cool.
So now.
So what we're going to do? We're going to pour coffee in there.
Yeah.
Have you got any iced coffee?
Yeah.
Oh, you have.
So
Right.
I'm going to get rid of that.
Here we are. The important shot.
So that is now on there. You can kind of see from the back, if you need to squeegee it on a bit more, or if there's any dirt that's got stuck or whatever, you can kind of see the bubbles from behind. So just know that you need to press it on a bit more.
Quite, I'm excited. Come on, Charlotte.
Okay. Let me get the iced coffee.
I mean, it doesn't look appealing, but whatever.
And then, oh God, I need a steady
Can you
hand.
see it on the camera? Which camera? That camera? That camera. There we go. Don't get it on me.
Trying to make sure the ice cube doesn't.
Oh, look, it's changing colour. That's amazing.
You get that?
That is fantastic. Oh, look at that. Look.
That's so cool.
That is brilliant. Amazing. And you've made a mess. And
Yeah.
we don't have a cloth or anything. But we'll figure that
That's
out
fine.
in a second.
It's just going to smell like coffee.
Yeah, is it? It's actually. It is. It's coffee. Charlotte, thank you so
Thank
much
you.
for that.
I'm sorry for making a mess.
That was quite a journey.
Yeah.
But we got there. That's
We did.
amazing. And thank you, everybody, for watching. And thank you for subscribing. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell icon, or ring the bell. And that way you'll be notified every time we upload. And yeah, question of the week. We forgot question of the week.
What is your go-to coffee order?
From Starbucks.
Can be Starbucks,
Al
but some
Costa,
people, yeah,
wherever.
wherever.
Go-to coffee order. Neve, what's yours?
Venti iced chai tea latte from Starbucks.
See, is chai tea a coffee?
No,
It's not, is
so chai means tea. So essentially it's like tea latte, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why Starbucks
That's mine
have the
as
extra
well.
tea.
I really like it.
It's
I
the
have
best
it
drink.
hot or cold. I
Yeah.
don't mind.
Christmas time comes cold, hot. It's the rest of the year.
Amazing.
Cold.
Leave your comments down below. Anyway, I'm not going to do the other bit again. Thanks for watching. See you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.